Well, if you've been online for the past week, you've probably seen the bombshell claim. Elon Musk is accusing Donald Trump of being in the Epstein files. Author and filmmaker Ryan Dawson has spent years mapping out the Epstein network. He's cataloged the names, the dates, the flight logs, the meetings, and the cover-ups. And tonight he joins us to tell us if there's any truth at all to Elon's claim. Is Trump in the Epstein files? Ryan Dawson, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. Pardon the shades.
Yeah. Do you want to tell everybody why you're wearing them so they don't think you're just an asshole?
Just a dick. Yeah. No, that's coincidental. No, I have macular degeneration in my eye. So doctor's orders, wear the shades if you're using a screen or sun or any kind of bright lights. So
how do you do research? I mean, you do so much research. When you research, are you having to wear those?
I print it out and then I read it off the paper.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's costing a lot.
Wow. Yeah, it's very old school. That is like really old school. Stacks of
I grew
paper.
up in the paper age, so it's not like hard for me, but it's such a pain to have to go do that. And then I think ink is more expensive than blood. I think it might be the most expensive liquid, like more than oil, more than blood.
It really is. Yeah, buying ink cartridges
ink.
is so expensive, so expensive. Okay. Let's talk about Elon Musk and the bombshell that he dropped just the other day. He's now since he hasn't backtracked this, but he did say time to drop the really big bomb. Real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. I will say that he has since come out and just even earlier, really like in the middle of the night, he apparently had some sort of, late night feeling of regret. And he wrote, I regret some of my posts about President real Donald Trump last week. They went too far. My guess is probably talking about, and probably talking about the Epstein one. Let's talk about this Epstein. I mean, you know more about the Epstein files.
I should be praising Elon since he allowed me back on X. And, I'd been banned from 2009 to 2023. And so Elon's done a lot of good things, but the guy is a compulsive liar. Like he said, he was like the #1 Diablo player. And according to video game nerds, the guy couldn't play at all. Like he didn't know how to unequip stuff off a dead body, whatever that is. He lied about that. Yeah. He said he never lost a game of chess and that it was a simple game, trying to pretend like he's some genius savant, whatever. And just the dude is full of crap. And, blamed the transgenderism of his son completely on the son, and like he had no responsibility as a parent, and da-da-da-da-da. So he says stuff all the time that is just blatantly false and everyone knows it, and he just goes on to the next bullshit. And he was mad at Trump for one thing that he has been consistent with Elon is he does sincerely want to cut government waste, and Doge was part of that. And then Trump comes out with this big, beautiful bill, which is just more deficit spending, which all of us knew. Like, it doesn't matter what party it is, they're all going to do that. And also, Elon is a bit of a welfare queen. Like, nobody gets more government grants for his businesses than Elon Musk. Mm-hmm. He's kind of that Green New Deal kind of guy, electric cars, all that. He rode that wave of alarmist environmentalism and profited off it handsomely. He makes a car. It's like, it's indestructible unless it's cold and the panels fall off. Like, pretty bad. And you see his tweets, and the more you see him interviewing, stuttering, the guy's a drug addict, and like, he's not the hero on the hill that people want, but they need some kind of figure so badly that they will overlook all these like obvious flaws and faults. And he's not a genius. He's not dumb either, but he's nothing special. So he comes out firing at Trump because he was butthurt about the big, beautiful bill. Because if you really thought someone was on the Epstein list, then why would you ever be his buddy in the first place?
Right.
Like, oh, it's just raping kids. Or like, oh, now you come out with it? So he's just talking because Epstein, trust me, if he's on the list, I would have told everybody he was on the list. They were friends, absolutely. He was very good friends with Maxwell, Trump was. So was Elon. The Democrats would have come out with that immediately. I mean, the only reason the Epstein story is even widely known is because they thought it was going to take down Trump.
Yeah.
That's the first thing they fired off was Trump, 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 Trump. Trump's the one that had him arrested. Trump's the one that had Maxwell arrested. Trump's the one that arrested Jean-Luc Burnell. Trump's the one that closed down the NXIVM cult. And Trump's the one that got Nygaard in jail. Biden arrested nobody. Obama arrested nobody. Clinton, like on back, Clinton's on the list too. Nobody acted on it. Nobody's FBI acted on it until Trump. And yet there's this big paper trail of Trump and Epstein at parties together and him saying he likes him a little young and blah, 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 blah. Here's what happened there is Donald Trump and Epstein definitely were friends, and Donald Trump and Maxwell were friends for longer and had a really deep friendship. He flew on a plane between Florida and New York. Everyone sets the bar too high. Like, were you on the island? You don't need to be on the island. They raped. He filmed all his properties, and all the shenanigans went on everywhere. Paris, New Mexico, Florida, New York. And he actually used Les Wexner's properties in Ohio too. And they were massaging there. I don't know what I'm allowed to say. Everyone, you know what I mean. Everyone knows what massaging is. And so that didn't bother Trump. What bothered him, like you think that the reason they broke off the friendship is because he discovered that or something. Nah, that wasn't it. He did kick him off his property because he recruited the daughter of one of his employees, and that was Virginia Giuffre. She just passed away recently, killed herself.
Do you believe that she killed herself?
Yeah, I do. She swallowed a whole bottle of pain pills. She put up a suicide note too, and I know it's like definitely worth questioning because any Epstein-related victim that dies, you're like murder.
Yeah,
but she went through a brutal divorce. She tried to see her kids on Easter and they wouldn't let them. And her whole way of coping through serial abuse, not only from Epstein, because she had been serial massaged by other people before Epstein and got passed around. Her husband and her kids were her whole world. And the divorce was not good. And she was self-medicating the whole time. There was actually everyone gets this wrong, so I'm glad you asked me this so I can explain this. She was in a car that got hit by a bus, not like brutally, but, hit it. And she went to the hospital because of the car accident. And serendipitously, they discovered your kidneys are about to go out. Like, you're going to die. You cannot have these meds. You got to stop this. And she's like, I got 4 days to live if... Now, people thought the accident wasn't that bad. They didn't wreck you so bad that it tore open your kidney or something. That's not what she was saying. It was like, because she got in any kind of accident and they forced her to do a checkup at the hospital is how they discovered how bad her kidneys were, because they looked at the other symptoms and things and like your eyes and so, and they realized this. And she had been self-medicating a long time. And just before she died, she put up on her Instagram a breakup song and then a black screen with a broken heart emoji. And I talked to the paramedics and everything. They found her with a whole empty bottle of painkillers. And basically, she was done. And she had just tried to see her kids. She didn't get to see them on Easter. And that was it. Because that was the whole reason she was living. And it sucked because she had been cut off from all the other girls. And everyone, she was up in north of Perth, which is Perth's already isolated. It was pretty sad. And I regret not reaching out to her either. I was going through this, my own, vision issues and stuff. And I thought, I just didn't know she was going to do it. Like I kind of should have. I thought, she's talking about death a lot. And all the signs were there when you go back retrospectively and look at it. But she'd just always been so tough and gotten through everything, But I'll say this about her. She took down the biggest pedophile network ever. So.
Yeah. Okay, but if you were going to kill her, if you wanted her dead because you wanted her to stop running her mouth or whatever it is, then this would be an opportune time to have her swallow a bottle of pills. I mean, theoretically, I'm just saying.
Sure. Yeah, you could set it up and be like, you could encourage the divorce. You could help cut her off because the people would have to go through her husband to talk to her. But that was on purpose because she was hounded by media and Epstein goons trying to discredit her. Da, da, da. But she'd already sued Prince Andrew and won. She'd already sued Maxwell and Epstein. She'd already run her mouth and already gotten tens of millions of dollars. So she'd said everything she was going to say.
Yeah.
There's no real point other than petty, like when just mad at her, so you wanted to kill her. It's not worth the risk. Like you do risk somewhat, could get caught, and there's no gain out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then what are all the other stuff? Coincidences that maybe someone snuck in her house and wrote a suicide note, and maybe they made her to get divorced and wouldn't let her see her kid. That she was done.
Well, I don't know if they would make all of that,
it,
but I'm just saying that if somebody's going through all of that, I mean, it would be easy to then be like, well, they were going through a divorce.
Yeah, you could encourage it.
Like, or you just, you don't even have to, I mean, you wouldn't even have to encourage it. You could just be like, well, look, they were going through a hard time. People go through depression. Most people go through it and don't kill themselves, right? They get out of depression. I mean, that's how most people.
Bus too. Just hit the car harder. That would have done it. There's a lot of ways, but yeah, and I understand why people are going to forever doubt it. I get it. But she had been, I don't want to say because she's already dead and can't defend herself, but she was not okay for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was obvious.
Okay, so back to the story. So she's the one. So Trump found out that Epstein and Ghislaine were recruiting at Mar-a-Lago.
Oh yeah. So his reason for turning on Epstein had nothing to do with his kitty farming and the way he liked young women. It was over a property dispute. That's what got him mad. Not the weird massages and stuff. He kind of like was willfully ignorant, but anyone around Epstein knew what a pervert he was. And a lot of Maxwell could hide it. Epstein flaunted it. He was a moron. He was the John Gotti of pedophiles. But there was a man named Abe Gossman who owned property next to Mar-a-Lago. So Trump really wanted it so he could expand his Mar-a-Lago property into an adjacent lot or whatever and get this house that was filled with artwork and other things. But because the guy was he was trying to dodge bankruptcy laws, and he had married somebody, and so if you jointly own the property, and so you just start putting stuff in your wife's name, then you can avoid it. But the person he married had already been married and got divorced in the Dominican Republic, and they didn't acknowledge that, so he couldn't use that loophole because it wasn't really his wife. Or at least the judge, Larry something, I forget now, but he was like, nah, it's clear what you're doing. You're not going to finesse your way out of it. So he had to do a fire sale. He had to get a $50 million property and sell it for under what it was worth because he was bankrupt and he was owed like $200 million. So Les Wexner had been the guy that sold him that property, and he wanted to get it back from him. Because they were in this money laundering thing I can't explain in 10 minutes. But so Epstein was Wexner's guy. He had Wexner's money. So he went and bid on the property, $38.6 million, I think it was. Donald Trump comes down there. He didn't come down there, but Raymond Royce, his lawyer, was there, and Trump was on speakerphone. And he would just go up a little higher than Epstein each time, because he really wanted it. And he had just gotten some of that Hyatt Hotel and Apprentice, the show movie. Like You're Fired. He got some money out of it. Yeah. And so he was like, I want this. It was a fire sale. It was adjacent to his property. It would be very easy to flip and get more. You could get 50 million at least. So paying 38, 39. There's a third guy, but Trump ended up getting it for 41 million and then sold it to a Russian oligarch in 2008 for 95 million.
Wow. Yeah.
So he made a nice, yeah. And that had to do with that guy also was dealing with a divorce, and he was trying to he was buying expensive artwork and all this stuff that his wife wouldn't get hold of, and then would sell it later and get his money back, whatever. He hadn't got divorced yet, but it was like he could see it coming. And so he was doing this. Anyway, he was a fertilizer potash billionaire out of Russia, and also friends with Antonia Golubche, who has a dealing with Steve Witkoff and Trump. He's a marble dealer. He acted as one of the middlemen. Witkoff did with Shimon Cohen to give a $250,000 loan to Bernard Kerik, the police commissioner of New York, who just happened to find a 9/11 hijacker's passport out of the blue. They're running a gambling operation out of Trump's Atlantic City properties. And anyway, it's a long story. He knows a lot of Russian oligarchs. So it was funny when they went with Russiagate and they didn't bring up Galupchik or this guy he sold it to. His name was, it's very hard to say, Bolo Levviv. I can never say it. Levviv, whatever. That's his name. But that's the $95 million. So he bought it for 41, sold it for 95, and he only held it for like 3.5 years. And Wexner was pissed, and Epstein was pissed. Then Trump his daughter marries into the Kushner family. Charles Kushner is also a real estate mogul out of New York and a competitor of Mark Epstein, because Jeffrey's brother is a realtor that actually ran a lot of the properties right around the rape mansion. He'd rent it to models and stuff from MC Squared, which the third man down in the Epstein ring, Jean-Luc Brunel, was running that. He took from Karen models out of Tel Aviv. Then he went to Miami and New York. And they had a house full of models right next to Epstein's house, and that no one talks about. It was like, yeah, here's the Epstein. It used to be a school. He gets it for $20,000. Some people say $1, but it was like $20,000. Got this school for a house, right across from Bill Cosby, by the way. But they would put MC Squared models next to it. And then all they had to do is walk next door and go in and massage. But anyway, so Kushners and Epstein were rivals. Lexner and Trump were rivals. So that's the divide, was over real estate and property. It had nothing to do with Kitty Finland. That's what blew up their friendship and turned against each other. And Epstein's lawyers were like, do you have anything on Trump? If he had anything on Trump, he would have used it right then.
Yeah.
He didn't have anything. Trump doesn't even drink. Like, he doesn't. He's a womanizer. He went after young but legal models, playmates, all that. He definitely did all of that. Cheated on his wife, guilty of all that. None of that's illegal. It's just you're a dick. Right. But it's not criminal. Right. And that's how he rolls. Yep.
So Elon accusing Trump of being in the Epstein files. Is there any, so you're saying, yeah, Trump's not actually, I mean, maybe his name shows up for hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein, but other than that, it's not like he was part of any sort of.
He flew on a plane with him. I'll tell you a funny story about that. He flew from Florida to New York, maybe the other way around. I think it was Florida to New York. And Epstein finally got Trump on his plane, so he's into manifests and everything. And they had some girls there from Ukraine. He's trying to bait him. And someone said something about white trash, and the Ukrainian was like, what is white trash? And Trump said, it's me with no money. It's so accurate. She didn't get it, but it made everyone else laugh. And the pilot heard that too, and that's how I got the story. But
well, the guy does eat steak with ketchup and a lot of McDonald's and always drinking Diet Coke.
He eats pizza backwards.
Yeah. So I mean, if the shoe
he
fits.
was in a Pizza Hut commercial. Do you know that when they first did the stuffed crust thing? Donald Trump and Ivanka were.
That's funny.
Eating pizza, and he goes, I'm going to do the dirty thing. She's like, no, and you think they're talking about something sexual? He's like, I'm just going to do it. And he grabs the pizza and he eats it from the crust first. Like, I'm going to eat it backwards. That's all. And then she's like, I want a piece. And he turns her and goes, you're only entitled to half. Because they just had a divorce. And then Pizza Hut thought that was funny. You can look this up, everybody. Donald Trump Pizza Hut commercial.
I have to look that up.
Domino's, whatever. I think it was Pizza Hut. Whatever it is. Look up the Donald Trump pizza commercial. He eats it from the back. And he even says to her, "You're only entitled to half." That's like Tate-worthy fucking put down on women, right? But he goes in, and it was funny then. But if you said that now in the woke age, nah, it ain't funny joking about that. But it was he just let it roll. He's like a billionaire playboy, and a lot of them gave up when he started bidding on the property because Trump always looked and appeared more rich than he was. It's like Donald Trump, his name's on the building. It's part of his brand. It was part of his strategy. Like his peacocking is amazing. And unfortunately, he tries to use that for foreign policy. It doesn't work very well, but it worked in real estate.
Yeah.
People with Trump would come in and they would just, oh, Donald Trump, and they would give up.
Well, let's face it, prices are still high. And for a lot of people, that means leaning on credit cards just to cover basic bills. But with credit card debt now at an all-time high, millions of Americans are getting trapped by skyrocketing interest rates. That's where American Financing can help. They're a family-owned mortgage lender that's been around for over 25 years. They're licensed in all 50 states, and they specialize in helping homeowners pay off high-interest debt by tapping into their home equity. And unlike some lenders, their mortgage consultants don't work on commission. They're salary-based, so their only goal is helping you find a loan that actually makes sense. Their customers save an average of $800 a month, and there are no upfront or hidden fees just to find out how much you could save. You could even close in as fast as 10 days and possibly skip up to 2 mortgage payments to create even more breathing room up front. They've helped hundreds of thousands of homeowners, and the reviews on Google says it all. So call American Financing today to find out how customers are saving an average of $800 a month. Call 866-885-1948 or visit americanfinancing.net/Iverson, americanfinancing.net/Iverson. Hey guys, thank you for watching this clip from the full Kim Iverson Show, which you could check out Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern at KimIversonShow.com. See you there.